This right here is the enemy you should be farming and killing for every single day. Why? That's what I'm about to tell you, so how about you subscribe instead? The reason is actually pretty straightforward, because you can get the energy regen main stat on the moonlit set, which is really important, and even if you get other main stat like, you know, damage percent element, then they're still going to be useful later in the game, and you're going to need this for like every single element in the game, whether that be like, you know, electro, whether that be like glacial or spectral. At the same time, the Stonewall Bracer can also drop as a rejuvenating set instead, and you need the exact same thing. In the future, you might need this set with electro damage main stat, but more importantly is that you need it right now with the energy regen main stat. And that's, let me slowly explain. If you've been playing Wuthering for a while, you probably have your main DPS geared out already with a full set of Gold Echo, hopefully at plus 25, hopefully it's a 4-3-3-1-1 build onset. Or maybe you have multiple characters geared out already. If you're missing a free cost onset, there are multiple events that will provide you with such, including the Elusive Realm event, and most recently the Alloy Smith event, as well as the Wuthering Exploration event. Each of these events provide you with 2 onset free cost echo with the right corresponding element damage bonus stat, so you should easily be able to obtain these. And at this point, you're probably wondering, should I keep farming to improve my substat? Should I gear out with different characters? Or what should I be doing with my overall resource instead? The answer is, you should be farming for your sub-DPS as well as support. Specifically, the moonlit set and the rejuvenating set. The Wedding Wave meta has established itself with the following meta: a main DPS carrying the corresponding damage set, a sub DPS carrying the moonlit set, and finally a healer carrying the rejuvenating set. Pretty much every single team right now follow this formula. You'll find that every single healer in this game is gonna start carrying the rejuvenating glow set that provide you with a 15% full party attack boost whenever you heal the ally, as well as the turtle echo providing you an additional 10% damage boost and a 50% damage reduction. Following that, you're gonna find every sub DPS carrying the moonlit set, with it providing a 22.5 attack boost for your next character when you do an outro, followed by equipping the Heron, which gives you an additional 12% damage boost when you do an outro. Now the good news is you only have to farm for one of this set. That is because in Wuthering Wave you can share gear. So once your healer is done with a run, you can move it onto a different healer and get the exact same effect, for the most part. Obviously, not every single characters in this game share the same stats. Healer like Baiji scale off HP, while healer like Verena scale off attack. So you might want to build different stats based on the character you're running them on. At the same time, if you're playing a sub DPS, Sanha would prefer to use glacial damage, while a different sub DPS like Yilin would prefer electro damage bonus. So you still have to farm for some pieces, except you don't. And here's what I'm about to tell you for real instead. This is the moonlit setup you should be farming for right now, and again, you only have to farm for one of these setups, starting with a crit rate 4 cost, an energy recharge 3 cost, an attack 3 cost, followed by 2 attack main stat 1 cost. This is the most shareable setup by far. You can run this setup on Sanhua, you can run this setup on Morphe, you can run this setup on Yinlin. And while this is not the best setup for every single characters, this is the most transferable setup by far. A energy regen free cost will really help you out smoothing out your rotation. You don't always need a lot of energy regen on every single characters, but it's more important to ensure that you have your ults up on every single rotation instead. So I would highly prefer to run a energy regen free cost on every single one of my sub DPS right now. And of course followed by a attack free cost, just because otherwise a damage bonus one is not universal. I can only run this on Sanhua, and another character like Yinlin or Morphe can't take advantage of it. But if I were to level a attack one instead, I can put this on every single characters and still get a good amount of benefit. For forecast, we default to using the crit rate echoes over the crit damage echo, just because crit rate is scaled better for every single characters until you have a large amount of crit rate. So for early game, prioritizing crit rate is a little better. If you do have a crit rate weapon, then you can consider using a crit damage echo instead. But since you won't have a crit rate weapon on every single characters, so therefore preferring crit rate echo is best. Once you get to late game though, you eventually switch both of these echo out for preferably a damage bonus main stat echo. Mostly because the moonlit set as well as the Heron echo just doesn't come with damage percent, so getting these two would be a massive damage increase for your sub DPS. But more importantly is that you have to make sure they have energy recharge substats. For pretty much every single characters in this game, you want to have a good amount of energy regen, like 140 to 150. So until you can hit that breakpoint, running the energy regen main set would be a little more beneficial. Now here comes the little more troublesome thing. For the moonlit set, you have to run the 5-piece set to get the actual benefit. You can't run 2-piece or whatever. You have to run the full 5-piece set for the benefit. Even more importantly is that, once again, preferably you run a energy regen main stat, just because it is the most important stat for pretty much every sub-DPS out there. And the energy regen main stat only appear on the free cost elite echo. That means there's no way of getting around it. You do have to go ahead and go farm a free cost energy regen onset main stat echo. This is the most important thing you should be farming for right now, just because, again, you'll need this exact setup on pretty much every single team, and this will be the biggest benefit you'll see on every single team by gearing up your sub DPS starting from now. Now, of course, the event do give you an onset free cost, but none of these give you the energy recharge main stat. So yes, there's no way around this. You have to farm it. Which is why, if you're choosing to farm for something, if you're a casual player and you don't have that much time to farm, you should be trying to farm for this instead, because this is the only way to get it. Now to the good news. While you're hunting for your energy regen main stat echo, you'll come across probably a lot of other different echo. And the good news is that you can pretty much keep every single one of them, because they will probably be useful later. Again, for now, you probably want a energy regen main stat, but in the future, when you do get all of the character geared out, you're gonna switch them to like glacial damage main stat, spectral damage main stat, or like a electro damage main stat. Which means, for the most part, you can keep every single one of these roles that you get, and I will advise you to just keep every single one of them, because all of them has the potential to be useful in the future. Which is, again, why you need to be farming for this right now, because no matter what's dropped, there's probably a chance it is useful. So it is very, very, very beneficial to farm. Now here is the trick behind all of these, is to specifically target farming the Stonewall Bracer Echo. The reason when you want to target this guy specifically is because he spawned in large quantity. Compared to like other echo like Fluids, the Stone Bracers spawn a lot more, so there's naturally a lot more chances for you to get. Keep in mind that there is a special level 85 red mist enemy that will guarantee you a drop every single time you kill him, so make sure you go kill him first. I think currently people think that the respawn is about 3 days to 4 days, so make sure to come check every 3-4 days to see if he respawn, and then grab your friend and go kill him together. No friends? I do got a Discord, link in the description. But there's another specific reason why we target the Stone Razor Bracer. That is because if he didn't drop you the Moonlight set, if you lost to 50-50, he can drop you Rejuvenating set, which you also need actually. The Rejuvenating set is also extremely important as well, and just as equally important is that getting energy recharge main stat on your free cost onset is really important, because every single healer in this game have very, very massive energy recharge out costs. Verena, with one of the highest energy costs in the entire game, 175, currently really need like 200% energy recharge to have a stable time ulting on every single rotation. And other characters like Genji are pretty much just outbot right now, so you want to stack as high energy recharge as possible. So getting this energy regen main stat free cost onset on the rejuvenating set is equally as important, which is why we specifically target the Stonewall Bracers, because he can drop both set and it's easy to farm. Again, for the Moonlit set, running one energy regen and then one attack main stat is going to be your preferred setup, since most of DPS will need some energy regen but not a lot, so running exactly one energy regen main cost is good enough. Keep in mind that you can't run two of the same echo for the 5-piece set, so you will have to farm for a different free cost echo for the attack main stat. Or if you really feel it and you are tossing resources around, you can also use the corresponding damage bonus set on your free cost echo instead. But then this will be less transferable, so you can level the Glacier one for Sanhua. You have to level a different fusion one for Morphe. On the healer, if you're looking for low budget, you don't have to level the 4 cost and the 1 cost. Plus the 2 4 cost and the 1 cost are lesser shareable, since again, some character run HP, some character run attack. And if you're running this healing set on like Yanwu because you're using the 3-star Gauntlet that allow him to heal, you're gonna need defense instead, so it's gonna cost you a lot of resource to level a different main stat. But the one common thing between every single healer is that they will really like a lot of energy regen. So this will be the most shareable echo and the most important echo across all the healer. And once again, you can find this on the Stonewall Bracer echo, which is why you really want to farm for him. But again, you have to farm for a different piece to get the full 5 effect bonus. No matter what team you're running in this game, you're pretty much going to have to farm for the rejuvenating set on your healer and then the moonlit set on your sub-DPS. But the more important news is, of course, if you're challenging the tower and you're running free team, then the rejuvenating set and the moonlit set can be shared across all free team, while your main DPS can be using a different element. So this is the most efficient set to farm right now by far, because not only it is really important to get energy regen stat on your sub-DPS and on your healer, you can share this across all free team right now in Wuthering Wave, which is why you should be spending time farming for this over any vehicle instead, especially if you have a limited amount of time to play. So yeah, happy huntings, like, comment, subscribe, you know it as always.